guys, we are going to review W1, which is writing arguments. So I want you to be very attentive to the examples I'm showing you here and all that. So first, we're just going to focus on writing one argumentative paragraph. So you could think about this as like a body paragraph. So the first sentence is your topic sentence, and that's your claim. So your claim needs to be specific, clear, compelling, debatable, defensible, and we've talked about what all those things mean. So some of you guys struggled with writing a specific claim. So here, the U.S. government needs to budget for more money to be used to help veterans. So I got a who, the U.S. government. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to highlight. The U.S. government needs to, what do they need to do? Budget more money, and why? To help veterans. Okay, so that's the specific part of the claim. Okay, so the next part of your paragraph would be an example or explanation. So this is where you expand on the claim and get more specific. So I have my claim, the U.S. government needs to budget for more money to be used to help veterans. So I'm going to start getting into the why. So veterans come home after serving their country and are often left high and dry. So this part here is my example or explanation as to why the government is needing to do this, why this is an issue, why it's worth arguing about, and why it's compelling. We go back to the claim, the U.S. government needs to budget for more money to be used to help veterans. Well, why is that? Why do they need help? Oops, sorry. So next comes your evidence and commentary. We've talked about evidence needing to be recent, reliable, and relevant. So make sure you find a reliable source. And then with your commentary, you need to kind of ask why. Why does the evidence matter? So we need to find evidence that directly supports the claim. Some of you guys struggled with this as well. If you're not sure what's directly supporting the claim, ask why. So I pulled up this article, just kind of skimming through, talking about the data. And then once we get to numbers, this part strikes me. The suicide rate shows the rate of suicide is 17.6 a day. It's a slight increase. Numerous public figures and public awareness campaigns in recent years have quoted the figure 20 a day in reference to veteran suicide, but VA officials last year clarified that estimate also includes active duty troops, guardsmen, and reservists. So that's showing me that that's reliable because they've really done their research and they're disputing other claims of the 20 a day. So I think this here will be a good sentence to use for my evidence because it answers the why. So here's an example of that. The U.S. government needs to budget for more money to be used to help veterans. Veterans come home after serving their country and are often left high and dry. According to Military Times, an online military news source, the suicide rate shows the rate of suicide among veterans is 17.6 a day in 2008. That's my evidence, okay? My commentary is this part. So notice how much longer my commentary is. You need to really go into detail about your evidence, okay? Again, notice with your citing your sources, I give where I got the information, what it is, comma, quotations, no punctuation there, parentheses with the author's last name, and period at the end. Okay, so counterclaim and rebuttal. You have to present the strongest argument from the opposing side and then argue against it. This step is arguably the most important in writing because if you don't do it right, it's going to sound like you're contradicting yourself, or if you just kind of breeze past it, then your argument's going to get way less persuasive. So I'm just going to start back at my commentary. This is unacceptable. Soldiers sacrifice everything for the United States, so the least the government can do is provide more services and mental health programs for soldiers when they return home. Here's my counterclaim. Many citizens argue that the government is already $20 trillion in debt from military spending, so no more money should be allocated. That is a strong argument. $20 trillion in debt. And I did not have to quote this because that's common knowledge. Anybody knows that by a simple Google search. now, the most important part. However, the government does not need to spend more money. They need to spend the money more wisely. Instead of sending billions overseas and making military spending a partisan issue, they need to take care of the men and women who take care of them. Okay, so again, notice how much longer this part is than the counterclaim. That's because this is what you're arguing, not this. This you're presenting it. Now you got to argue against it. Notice here I used the government does not need to spend more money. So like this is true. Like the 20 trillion, that's a huge number. Why would we want to spend more money? So I acknowledge that fact and go into detail about how we don't have to go into more debt in order to help the veterans. Okay, so last is your concluding statement or statements. This is when you tie it together. Why did I mark on that? Okay, sorry. So I'm just going to go back. I'm not going to read the whole thing again. I'm going to go to the bottom. Veterans and their families should not have to live in pain. Instead, the government needs to make veteran mental health and care a priority. So here I've gone back to my claim about what needs to happen and why it needs to happen. Okay, there's no reason for veterans and their families to be living in pain. Okay, so let me know if you need help with that. You're going to work on that, practice this skill again.